welcome back to the channel. Today's video, it's something slightly different, and we are talking about being priced out of living. And of course we all know it's inflation's going on, but today I sort of had this, let's say daunting feeling, but basically the feeling of that I feel like we're being suppressed and basically feel like we have been priced out of living. The other day, guys, you know, I bought a lot of wholesale grains and beans and stuff, and I wanted to find myself some containers rather than using my sort of Kilner's jars. Of course, yes, I vacuum pack a lot of beans and I put them away for long-term storage, but I also wanted to have some extra containers, like sort of plastic ones with a lid, to store the bits that I need for the next like sort of 6 months readily available. And unfortunately I've run out of my plastic containers and I have to resort to using the jars. So I thought the other day I'll pop into Asda. I haven't seen anything in Asda apart from really cheap and nasty ones, but they weren't really that cheap anyway. So I thought for a change I'll pop into Tesco's. So in Tesco's they did the Systema ones, which is a branded one, and a 2-litre box was £8.20. £8.20. Okay, so I thought, all right, let's see, maybe they have some Tesco's cheaper version, and it was £6. We're talking about 1 2-litre box. Not being funny, but all I want is they put like my 50p rice in there. Do you know what I mean? Like, who on earth got like £8 or £6 to spend for plastic container to put your beans to store? So basically I was rather disappointed, and of course I didn't spend that sort of money because I just think that's absolutely ridiculous. And I know cost of living is going up and production of everything is going up, but I think in some circumstances certain things are just being increased deliberately, either to price us out or just because the companies are greedy anyway. So for the time being I just have to stick to what I had. I even had to resort to using my little Kilner's jars just to put some bits in there, because I'm certainly not spending that kind of money. And those things are not cheap neither. Like for the big ones, we're talking between like £6 and £8 if you look around. So it's not that cheap at all. So anyway, just genuinely today, as I said, I popped into Tesco's and I just wanted to get past a few things. First of all, and again, I'm speaking from my experience, from my observations. I normally go to the shops a lot, obviously, because I do this channel, I research prices, and I go to the shops a lot to make sure and to check before, obviously, I speak about something that it is kind of correct to my experience. And for the past few months, really, I have been experiencing that a lot of choices have been disappearing from the shelves. And yes, we live in a rural area. We have, not say small supermarkets. Supermarkets are still fairly big, and they are still very well stocked. However, I've noticed the choices are disappearing. And it's not the choices of things that, the things that you need, but it's the things that you more likely want in some instances. Like I've noticed, say, with the toothpaste, we had a nice big aisle of sort of dental care in Asda, and I keep looking at it and things are changing, and I can't put my finger to it. Unless you buy something specifically all the time and it disappears off the shelves, then you will notice it. But basically they were really well stocked. However, the area was a tiny bit smaller, but they had like the same toothpaste and then something else, and then the same toothpaste, the same as there. So it's kind of, it looked full, but the choice wasn't there. But of course the £13 toothpaste is there right on the top, they're shining at you. Who on earth is going to spend £13 on toothpaste? Do you know what I mean? It's like absolutely ridiculous. But that's something for you to keep an eye out, guys. You might have already noticed it. Another thing is, it was the soups. I noticed the soups, even Heinz or even the supermarket brands, used to have such vast variety of soups, but they don't seem to anymore. You get your sort of bog standard tomato, chicken and mushroom, and you might get the chunky soup, but a lot of other choices that were there, I do not see on the shelves anymore. And again, it could be potentially this is our area, but I have traveled outside our area, but I still see the same thing. So I don't know if you guys notice that, then please comment below, I would like to know. But it just get me thinking that what is exactly happening out there, that it's creating this sort of a lack of choice and super inflated price. And forgive me, I know the inflation is there, but some things are just absolutely ridiculous. Anyway, I'm just going to take you through a couple of bits I bought, and it's not a shopping haul video. This is just, I forgot to buy some bananas and yogurt, so I just popped in and needed to pick up some bits. But custard, I needed to pick up some extra, not needed, I wanted to pick up some extra custard because I bought some custard from Asda, and there was the essential range custard. It was 22 pence, I believe, and it was absolutely revolting. The colour was really off-puttingly brown, and it just wasn't any good. They had one in the milk carton type things. It was 50p. That was tasty. But anyway, Tesco's custard It's 60p for the tin. 60 pence. And this is, we're talking about like the cost of living and this struggling to be able to, I can't afford to stock up the 60 pence thing, and I can't afford to buy, well I could, but I just don't see the point. I much rather now migrate and basically buy a custard powder and just use that because it's just that much more cheaper. It's just absolutely ridiculous. Also things, guys, like I find those little soup stuff, or you know, I did a video before about if you don't have enough space or you don't want to buy like loads of things at once, like the soup sachets, 85 pence, and you have 5 of them. They're really space conserving and they're really cheap, even if you compare the price to like a 40p tin of soup. So this was really good value. I bought some tomato ketchup because yes, we are going to have shortages of tomatoes yet again apparently for next year. So I picked up 2 of them. They're £1. There's a Stockwell option which is much cheaper, but they are a little bit more sweeter. I picked up the normal spaghetti pasta. They're 28 pence. That's fine. Check out your discounted shelf at Tesco's. If you go, there's always one at every Tesco's. If you're lucky enough, I picked up those roasted peanuts, reduced from £2 to 50 pence, and this is 550 grams. Yes, the date is in December, but they're going to last past, well, a few months past that anyway, but in our house they won't last anyway. Christmas time, somebody likes to munch on peanuts. Right, so I also bought those. That was on the reduced shelf as well. This is 400 grams and it was reduced from £5 to £2.50, and the date is end of December. So this is a win-win. I don't have a lot of milk because we normally buy the long life milk, but long life milk was only like 6 months. So I picked up a few of them and they'll go in my cupboard. So that's good. I bought some porridge oats, again, irrelevant, I just bought them, they're just here. Tesco plain flour is 95 pence. They didn't have their Stockwell cheap ones at all. 95p, again, it's quite a lot now comparing that. Lidl was like 59 pence, if it still is, I don't know. I wanted to look for big sugar. Many of you say that the Tesco's do a big sugar, and we don't. We haven't, and we haven't got an Asda. I've been looking and looking, I cannot get it. And sugar, 1 kilo in Tesco's is now £1.05p. So it's even more, so it's all gone up a lot, so it's gone up yet again. I picked up some sardines this time. They had some 50 pence. Picked those ones in brine at the moment, only bought 4. Right, peanut butter. I like Tesco's peanut butter, but it's now £1.45. It used to be like 90 pence. Yeah, £1.45. That's a massive increase, and we're only talking about like 3-4 months probably. It's just absolutely ridiculous. And again, when things are under £1, you feel that you can get quite a lot for your money, especially if you're trying to stockpile or, you know, put stuff in your cupboard. But when things approaching like £1.50 or £2 in some instances, it's kind of make it just that less affordable, if that makes sense. So their chocolate spread is £1.85. This is 400 grams. You might as well now buy Nutella for, you know, they do them on deals during the winter, and you can buy a kilo sometimes for like £5 if you like it, this is. So it's worth keeping an eye out. But I bought one anyway, just because I needed some, and that looks like a nice sort of rich colour. So, but yeah, £1.85. Again, they used to be just around £1, but it's just gone up, just crazy. It's crazy. Cheese, Greenfields, £2.69. I'm pretty sure like a couple months back they were £2.20 or £2.30. They were the cheapest, so that's quite a big increase. You might as well now again buy the branded version for similar money. So there we are. Another thing I wanted to mention, guys, that I popped in there, I wanted to get some champagne, and for Christmas, and Tesco's and Asda do their own champagnes. And I think it was £12 Tesco's, no, so £12 Asda, £14 Tesco's, I think. They don't have any. And it's not like, guys, I appreciate it's holiday time and people might be buying champagnes more often, but they didn't even have the area where the champagne goes with the price tag. It's like it's just been annihilated. And yes, there's a shortage of champagne, and there's going to be a shortage of champagne next year if you read the news, but basically they didn't even have it. So whether it's like a deliberate attempt, I don't know. But the next best thing, if you wanted champagne, it was like £25 for, I can't remember what it was, Hendrick's one, or 35 quid for Moyo. So it's ridiculous. I'm not intending to spend, yes, it's Christmas, it's a great day, but to be fair, I'd much rather spend my money buying other more important things for the future rather than spending money on the champagne. However, I did buy Cava there, tried that one before, it's nice, got little Christmas decorations. That was reduced from tenner to like £7.50, so I had that. And yeah, bread is irrelevant anyway. But yes, and funny thing though, right guys, we're talking about being priced out of living and things that are disappearing, the sort of the posher things. And yes, our essentials going up crazily in price, like basically weekly, and yet I can still buy a bottle of JD for £20 for a litre. Yes, it was not reduced, but on a deal from 33 to 20, but Tesco's quite often reduce them to £20. So just makes you wonder, right? So, you know, our everyday things and people struggling to buy everyday foods, and they're going up by astronomical amount on a monthly basis, and yet if you want a bottle of Plonk, here we go, 20 quid, a nice bottle of JD, so go figure. Right, and another thing I was going to mention, it's, well, semi-relevant, relevant to this video anyway, a cider. It's 2 litre bottle here. They are quite expensive. It's £6.80 now. They used to be £3.58 from Lidl. When they used to do them, they were called Old Scrumpy or Scrumpy. Anyway, they're just more than doubled in price now. Anyway, the reason I buy this is because after you drink this, you can reuse a container. So I thought, you know what, sort all this expensive Guinness jars and everything else, I'm going to start drinking more cider rather than wine. I'm going to keep my 2 little bottles. If you rinse it, disinfect it, I can then put my beans in there through the funnel, put the lid back on, tape it up, and put this for long-term storage. No bugs of any kind will eat through the glass. So as long as it's in a dark and cool place, it's a win-win situation. Yes, it's expensive in the first place, but if I were to make a choice and buy cider in the bottles or in the tins and for the similar money, or for just a little bit more, I'll buy this now because I know if I have to spend like £5 on that, well, I must buy £6.80 on that and I should get a drink from that and keep the bottle. So here we are. So yeah, I think I've really covered what I wanted to say, guys, but what I basically wanted to do, I didn't want to plant the seed in there for you, but I just wanted to know, because I've been monitoring this for ages, and I certainly 100% noticed this lack of things, certain things on the shelves, and the overpriced things that they don't have to be overpriced, because I think in some instances, yes, there's inflation, but some companies and some products are just basically taking the Mickey Michael and just overly inflating the price just to keep up, because it's inflation. It might not cost them any more to produce, but because things that went up, they just put the things up anyway. But I want to know if you noticed the things, like the choices that you have in the shops, if you notice things are disappearing. It's been done ever so slowly, guys, ever so slowly. But suddenly I just looked, when I looked at Asda, it's just that little alarm bell just rang to me and said, this is not normal and this is not how it was. So anyway, so please comment below. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do to help us out. Thumbs up. Keep warm, and I'll see you very, very soon. Bye-bye.